Boom, boom. This is Ken, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Ragna break. Destiny Child up. That's right. So, got a new Ragna break season up here, season 23 in Destiny Child. So, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it because there's a few things that need to be pointed out. First of all, as you know, in every Ragna break, there's always a story. There was a communications error with the developer. They did not get the English version of the raid story done properly, so it was not released. So for those of you wanting to look at the story, which in all of the games this has the best story, it's unfortunately only in Japanese, and that's the way it's going to be for the entire season. They're not going to update it. They'll be putting the Ragna break season in English. It'll be put up afterwards, but when they get it done, you'll be able to find it in Night World and go to Hakat's library, and you'll be able to read it, the story there, which is unfortunate because it's a very, very good story. It's one of the things that's really nice about this game is the fact that it has a really, really good story. So you'll be able to pick it up in here, and they'll have it in English, but you won't be able to actually view. You know, you have to. It'll be in Japanese as you go through the levels. You know, it just one time they gave rewards for everybody. I think there's like a bunch of crystals and a couple 5-star tickets as a reward. All right, okay, so let's go ahead and pick this up. All right, so gracing the screen is a new version of Arhat. This was the immortal Arhat. She's water. Okay, the original Arhat, as you know, is dark. Then she's got the sort of the childlike look. This here is the much older version, immortal Arhat. She's a Ragna beast, basically. Skill gauge charge amount 18 for water type. In raids, plus 20% is added, and then inside of raids, so anytime you're going up against fire, because she is water, or basically any type of raid that you want to use water in, this is the one you want to go to, okay? Because she's just just completely a beast. She's designed specifically for Ragna break. So water supporter, she is of course the off child, meaning you'll have to draw numerous times to get her. I have 3 copies of her right now. I've got her ×3, I believe. No, ×2. I've done a lot of draws on her. Spent about 50,000 crystals so far. Not getting her very often, so haven't had good luck inside the draw. This draw is only going to be up for today. It leaves. So you're going to have to do the draws today if you want to get her. You'll be able to continue farther on. They usually will have another raid where you'll have both the main child, which is Caduceus right here, and her together in the same pool after this one goes away. But if you want to get just her, this is the best place to do it. You're not going to get any other copies of her are available. All of the copies inside of the rewards and stuff, like inside the raid shop and whatnot, are for Caduceus. So that's the child that you're going to get. That's also the child you'll get for completing the Ragna missions. Is another Caduceus. Not a bad character, but again, not anything to write home about. Other childs, just as good from a fire attacker perspective. So yeah, I wouldn't focus anything on her. You want to just basically go for the immortal Arhat. I can't attest to the story. As I said, I've not read it. It looks to be interesting what's going on, but in terms of what it's saying, I don't know because it's in Japanese. All right. So everything else basically pretty the same. We got the Devil Pass up. Again, if you purchase the seal, that will enable you to get some more copies of Caduceus, as well as her hot spy outfit. I got Arhat's spy outfit in the mission pass, where you have use the 15 to draw. I ended up having to do, I think, 5 draws was what it came out before I was able to get her, and on the 5th draw, right here, so I got her outfit right here. I'm not going to show that for too long. But so I got that because I had to do 5 times to actually get her. So at 5 times you actually get a copy of her spy outfit. So I got that as well. So that's one of the bad things. But we did get her. She is a great, yeah, great for Ragna Break. I'm using her in a team right now. As for the, the boss is she is fire, so you want to bring a water team, or light, or dark, or other fire. You don't want to bring any wood because that would be bad because that's got the wood takes the elemental against fire, right? Water beats fire, fire beats wood, wood beats um, water. So that's the way it goes, and then light and dark offset. So that's the way you look at it. So bring that, and definitely want to do draws for Arhat because an excellent setup here. She's got a really good skill set, really powerful character. Not particularly fond of this. I don't like when they create characters. I don't have any problems at all taking a 4-star and then creating a new 5-star version of that. Got no problems whatsoever with that. Do not like it when there's already a 5-star character out, and then they put out another 5-star character for just laziness. Okay, that's not needed. Okay, I'll give them a little bit of a break on this one simply because of the fact that the look is completely different. Because if you look at the original Arhat, who is dark, you will see that this is her. Now this is her in her outfit. I've got the outfit for her, but if you take away the costume, this is what the regular Arhat looks like. Okay, so we'll go. So where that see that's her regular outfit. Okay, so completely different look. Uh, Going from dark, going into water. So that's I'll give him a little bit of an excuse on that. We've also got this is the one that makes her look like a child, which is where she was when she was the Calateria with Calateria in that particular instance. And then there's the costume, which is what she wore when she was ceremonial. That's what she had right there. So that's the one I used just because it's a little bit more colorful. But yeah, so this is a much more nicer looking version of her. Definitely much more revealing would be the word, I guess. So that's it, and I do like the fact that she's got this huge little thing here. But yeah, she does a ton of damage. She's very good character. And the buff that she, yep, Chang on steroids would be a good option because of the fact that she does decrease. She does very similar to what Chang did in terms of skill gauge manipulation, increasing it, but about 20%, so extra. So compared to an 18 already, so that's 38%. And you'll know it when you put her in as a leader. You'll notice that your damage increases pretty good because they're firing things off a lot more, as well as a weak skill point buff that's included as well. So she's got a lot of good stuff going for her. So she's definitely a good character, and that's why she's put on the part where you're going to have to spend crystals to get her. Of course, you can always stick her into the House of Reincarnation, and I've already got her in there. So when you're doing your draws for that, 6 childs, you can get the draws. So I've got Pulla in there, the Nautilus is in there. Just keeping them up. As you get the 6, then you take it out and substitute a new one. You should be using this quite frequently. That's the way they allow you to actually focus the game and get what you want to get. So we're just coming off the backs of they had another Lisa Lessons event last week. I was having issues getting Destiny Child to work inside of BlueStacks, which is the reason I did not do a video last week on the Lisa's extra lessons. As always, this was a totally awesome event. 6 childs, fully maxed, fully limit broke, and fully ignitioned. That's right, highest level that you can get them at, fully ignitioned. That means they had all of the runes applied right here. Like I got Mars in the event. I chose her. CC's fully ignited. Okay. So yeah, I mean it was just a great event. Getting a lot of the characters. They had quite a few in there. Let's go ahead and yeah, I've got them up. So you can just scroll through and see them. I got Oifus, fully ignited. And then we've got Korra fully ignited. And we've got Cunning Merkala fully ignited. Night Muse is fully ignited. And we got Flynn's ignited. And we also got one more, Odysseus. So those are the ones. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all of them. Yeah, fully. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just a great event. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more awesome, it gets awesome to the point where it's unbelievably powerful. So there was a good set in there on that last day where they had Mars and Dana in there as well. I was seriously going to consider doing Dana, but I've already spent quite a bit of mats in Dana. And I didn't want to have, I was going to waste all those ignition cores and stuff that I'd done on that if I got her. But after Dana was done, my next defender that I was going to actually do was Mars. Mars is a staple for World Boss. She applies her barrier to all allies. Okay, Dana does not apply it to all allies. She only applies it, her barrier, grant barrier, to 5 allies. Okay, so she's excellent in a standard base team and story. Any other mode, she's perfect because she does it for the 5 allies. It doesn't matter what denomination they are. It doesn't matter if they're water. It doesn't matter if they're light, dark, whatever's in the team. 5 are going to get it. So she applies it to those 5, and she does it often, and it's a little bit more powerful, which is why she is the best healer. But when you're going into World Boss, Mars applies a barrier to, drive skill barrier to all water type allies. So when you're going up against a team, when you got to put a lot of water in there, all of them get it. So in the World Boss, if you put in, say, 10 water, all 10 are going to get the barrier. So it's best to have that there. And also, she grants barrier to all allies. Okay, so she basically is the perfect candidate for World Boss. Okay, so that's what you got to understand about her. So to 5 water type allies get the regen and a barrier absorb to all allies, but that's on the that's on the rage skill. So that's why it's a little bit different. So that's why she is used in World Boss. So she was going to be my next defender that I was going to be focusing on. So I just decided to go ahead and get her instead of getting Dane, wasting those 2 ignitions I got on her, then having to start over and do Mars would have been a waste of cores. So I just decided to go do that. So I'm working on Dana right now, and I'll have her up in a few days. I've got the cores finally made, so now I can start moving them in. It's just a matter of getting light 5 stars because, as you know, you can make a rune, ignition rune, with any 5-star character, but to actually apply it to your character, it has to be of the same class. So it has to be in the light character. So I have to wait until I get some light childs. I'm going to be doing a mass opening in a week or 2, which we'll have a video on. Now that I've got everything set back up and working good, it's really difficult. I don't know what the BlueStacks, for some reason, it would kept freezing, and it would just lock up and it wouldn't load. I finally got it up a couple days ago, but then I noticed that when I went into the story, it was in Japanese, and I was like freaking out. I thought something was wrong, but it was doing the same thing on my phone. So I went ahead and installed it on my tablet, and it was doing the same thing. And that's when I realized. And then finally, I finally found an article in Moot explaining that a communication error and caused it to be. It wasn't just my game had corrupt data, with no data corruption, because that's what I thought it was data corruption. But since it was doing it on my phone, I realized then, okay, no, definitely not anything wrong with the data, because it wouldn't be. It's a full load on 3 different devices. It's not data. That's server issue. So yeah, it was. I managed to find the article and they explained that communications error and it doesn't. They apologized. I'd seen the rewards when I'd logged on, but I really didn't pay attention because this game gives you a lot of rewards every time they do service updates. I thought the reward was a little bit generous for a normal update, but I didn't really read what it was about. Come to find out, it was the reason it was such a good reward was because of the fact that they missed when they uploaded the Ragna break. It was only in Japanese. But yeah, it's really unfortunate because I'll say the high point of this game is the story. They have an excellent story. So it's a little pisses me off a little bit to be blunt that I can't get the story, but I'll get it when it pops up inside of the Ragna break. And the next one, it's not going to happen. This is not going to be a common occurrence. Just this time. From now on, once the world boss and other Ragna breaks, that will be in English translation. But yeah, so don't go trying to switch between your languages, trying to figure out it's not you, it's the server. All right, so yeah, so that's good. Mission pass is the same. There's nothing different. Standard limited missions if you want to pay. Premium sub-agent child missions here, just level them up, get them to 60. Get them to 50, I should say. Awaken them, take them to 60, get them up to 60, ignite them, 1, 2, 3, and as you perform the ignitions, you get rewards. Yeah, nothing different in terms of that. Ragnarok, this is pretty good. I was getting about 6,500 is the standard that I was pulling off inside of here. I don't do BlueStacks is unable to keep up with the game, so I don't do the actual. You won't see any of the videos on this. You won't see me doing much in the way of actually engaging fighting because BlueStacks can't keep up with it. I always get sometimes up to almost I've actually had almost 2 million more when I do it on my phone compared to when I do it through BlueStacks. BlueStacks just can't keep up with the rate of the damage. But the actual I can do story mode. Story mode shouldn't be a problem. So we'll go ahead and skip through this, like I say, because it is in Japanese, and then we'll do the actual start. So as you can see, I'm using Arhat as the actual leader, and then we got Mars, of course, since she's fully ignited. Eve, of course, Thisbe, and of course Neptune for healing. Really, the water does not have an excellent healer. I mean, they've got the new Rusalka that just came out a little while ago. She's a pretty good healer in terms of that, but not focusing on her. I'd use pretty much Neptune for all my healing, simply because of the fact that she's the best at it. And it avoids me having to change a healer because I use her in PvP as well. This is my PvP team, except for remove Mars and put in Dana, and remove Arhat and put in Mafdat, who's fully ignited light, who does a ton of damage. So as you can see, it clears things up pretty quick. Yeah, getting like 6.5 million, 7. As you can see, this is all in Japanese, so I can't read what they're saying. I'm not exactly sure why they're not going to do it for the season. It should be easy to post an update that would translate it, which leads me to believe that the communications error was not troubles in the translation, but I don't think anybody actually did it. Is what it seems to me, and as such, it's causing taking a little while for them to get out. So I'm just skipping through it. I will, of course, when it comes out in Arhat Library, we'll be able to read it and get caught back up. But yeah, a little unnerving there because yeah, like I say, the story is the main selling point for this for Destiny Child. But mistakes happen. Still a lot, still a lot going on over in Asia with COVID and whatnot, or I should say with the Corona. I guess is what everybody calls it, since discussing it is still a little touchy on YouTube. So there's still some issues going on over that way. So not surprising that something might have got lost in translation. A little play on words there, since there was no English translation done. So that's what happened. But anyway, still going to continue pushing on. Yeah, so just get out the water childs. This is a good team if you want to do something like that. Anything in terms of putting Immortal Arhat as your leader, uh, excellent, excellent, excellent in terms of uh, what she does in terms of damage. By speeding up the skill gauge that much, you just hit a lot more often. I was able to clear, first time ever, I was able to clear 28 in one shot. So, you get to 30, then you hit the Slayer. 30 is where you max out. I hit 28, and I did 28 in one shot. Unable to do 29. I had 29, it took me 2, and then 30, it took me 4 almost. Because one of them I wasn't paying attention. Full auto was not engaged, so I was just hitting with base. So it would have been 3 otherwise. So that's how much damage you're doing with this team. So it's a really good team. But of course, I've got 3 fully ignited characters, and of course, I've got soul cards on them that apply to Ragna raids. So that's why everything's good. So yeah, it's not unusual. But Arhat's definitely something to focus on. Now there are other for world boss. You're not going to put her in world boss. For world boss, you're still going to want to use Mafdet, water Mafdet, for world boss. Simply because she's still the best you got for world boss when you're going up against fire. So don't confuse world boss with raid. So you still want to use water Mafdet. Let me show you here for world boss when you're going up against fire. She's very right here. So you still want to use her for world boss because she's a world boss. Okay, so don't confuse world boss with raids. Anytime you see raid, it means Ragna break. Anytime you see world boss, it means world boss. So don't confuse the connotation and get it mixed up. But it's the same with the soul cartridges. Anytime it says raid, it means Ragna break, and in world boss, it'll say world boss. A lot of people get that fused. Also, PvP is not okay. There's three formats. Okay, you've got PvP, which is arena, which is in Night World and Devil Rumble. That is PvP. Okay, so when it says PvP, it means Devil Rumble. Okay, PvP does not mean it'll apply inside of a raid, which is Ragna break. Okay, so if you want something to do in Ragna break, it specifically needs to say raid. So if you got something that says PvP, it's not gonna, that soul card is not going to be effective inside of a raid or world boss. It only works in PvP. And same with the raid. Raid will not work inside of PvP, and it will not work inside of world boss. It will work inside of a raid only. Same with world boss. World boss, it'll say world boss, it'll only work in world boss. It won't work in a raid, and it won't work in PvP. So there's three lines, so to speak, of soul cards. You got the PvP, the raid, which is Ragna break, and world boss. So I know it's a little annoying. I wish they would have a 3-slot option inside of the soul card, just so that you could just like apply one type of soul card to each to the character. Then you wouldn't have to change it out. But yeah, it's really impossible. So basically, before every facet, you have to go in, gather up all your soul cards just for that particular type, and then match them up with a character. Because some of them have, most of them actually have requirements, such as it needs to be a fire attacker, or it needs to be an attacker, or supporter. It requires a side contingent to get the buff. So not everything is functional in that. But so every event you have to go into, you have to choose your team, and then try to fit a soul card on them that will assist you in what you're doing. In World Boss, it's a nightmare. In World Boss, it could take 25-30 minutes just shuffling through, matching everything up in your teams, getting it set up. So yeah, the soul card system needs to be a little bit more. They either need to make multiple facets. They actually, in my opinion, they need to combine Ragna break and World Boss and make that one soul carta. Okay, instead of having separate soul cartas for separate modes. It just too much of a hassle. But you need to do it because it can greatly increase without soul cards, I'd probably be doing 4, probably maybe 4, 4.5, instead of, upwards of 7. Uh, so it can benefit you greatly. And yeah, make sure you put Mortal Arhat in there. But yeah, completing everything. Go through the Ragna missions. As always, there's some good rewards in here. You get a soul card at the end. Okay. Okay. So this one might be good for something. As you can see, this is generic, which means it will work in all modes. So, if it doesn't specify in PvP or in raids or in world boss, then it's just generic and it'll work on everything. So this is actually not a bad soul card. Time-based debuff accuracy by 15. So basically, this is going to increase. This will be a good actual soul card that you might want to consider if you don't have a raid soul card. I have a raid soul card to apply to Arhat right now, but this might be a good one for her. Okay. Yeah. So not a bad setup. Little unhappy that I can't get the story because I was really looking forward to that. But accidents happen. All right. So that's everything. We'll start back up on the videos. I'll do a video when we're getting close to the end of it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're also going to have a big opening session coming along here, probably sometime into the week. Now that everything's fixed, I've got everything stabilized, and I've got caught back up. I was originally going to do this last week. We've got 50 to open, so we're going to go through those, open a lot of those up. And I've got these the rewards from the events and stuff, so I've got a lot of summons to do. So we're going to do a lot of that stuff and see what we can get. Yeah, I'll be focusing on. I got a lot of people asking me about ignition and what you use. Well, I mean, for instance, for Dana, I've been focusing mainly. Dana's not an attacker. Okay. Okay, that's not what she is. So don't build Dana as an attacker. You build Dana with defense because that's what she is. She's a tank, and she's supposed to tank. So you don't build her with attack. I mean, you can put a little bit of attack in it if you want, but basically, you want to apply defense to her, okay? Because that's what her main set is. But I don't think I have a light. I actually do have a light. I do have a Mafdet. Oh, I actually have 2. So that's, yeah, I could do. So that's how you perform the actual ignition. Okay, and then you gotta see on the sides you can actually apply just a core, but in the center it has to actually have another light child with it, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I've been applying her with defense. Okay, it is. She's a tank, and you understand. As long as she's alive, you're getting your barrier. Okay, so when she dies, no barrier. So if your Dana should not be dying first. Your Dana should die last. Okay, because if she's dead, you're not getting the barrier, and that's what makes her such the best defender in the game is how fast, how long she applies her barrier. But if she's dead, she can't apply her barrier. So when she dies, you're going to die. That's basically what it amounts to. So you need to keep her alive as long as possible. So you want to build her with defense. Okay. You might want to stick. You can stick an attack in there, maybe on the side or something. But your main line, center core down there, you want to do defense. And that's one of the reasons. She is so good is because she's an excellent attacker. Don't build her as an attacker. Build her as a defender, which is what she is. Okay. So all right, that's all I got. So thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe. Once you subscribe, you'll see the bell. Click on it. You'll be notified each time we do drop a video. Also, remember to share the video, as the YouTube algorithm just gets tickled pink when you do that, and it'll start shooting out the video to everyone else. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. It's Ken here, still in the corner, still coming at you, signing out.